time for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
You got 5. Go ahead.
All right, Bobby, we're going to kick it right
I knew
off
it.
with your
I knew
Saturday.
it. I knew where we were going.
I'm sorry. You
Go
got
ahead.
to do it first. Got to get out of the way. Which loss was worse for you, the parlay or Arkansas?
Arkansas by far.
Okay.
A little bit, not mostly. I don't want you guys to think I'm happy it's over because I would have loved to run the streak forever. But there's pressure off of me now that I can now suggest more games to bet. I then just was like, I'm only doing the parlay because I don't want to miss any of the stupid bets. So I hit one of the 2 in the parlay, which is a loss. When I hit that first one, though,
I know.
I was like, Baylor? I thought you'd win. I didn't know you'd whoop. And then I got to Oklahoma. Oh, they were never even. They never had a chance. I watched that game. We were, the Arkansas game was on one TV in the hotel room. The Oklahoma game was on the other because of my wife's school, and they never had it. It wasn't even. Where the Arkansas game, Texas A&M is not a good football team. Had we not made unforced dumb errors, we would have won that game. I'm not that guy usually who blames it on the ref or who says, "Oh, we had it," but they just aren't that good, and we played right into them. That fumble was extending it from the 4. It'd have been a great play if he'd have made it, maybe a Heisman shot, but he didn't. It was way early.
Yeah.
I mean, we were thrashing them, running the ball. That field goal, if they wouldn't have been in an NFL stadium, that'd have been good. The goalposts are taller in NFL stadiums.
Oh,
dang. Really?
I didn't realize that. They were in Jerry's world.
Mm-hmm. So it was a tough loss.
Hey, when did you start thinking that? After they hit it? Or were you just later in the day thinking about that dumb field goal? And
I
then,
saw someone tweet it.
Okay. Because that's a good observation.
I haven't seen that. I didn't know that.
Someone tweeted it. Hey, if that had been in a college stadium.
It would have gone right over.
Everybody wants to move it out of Jerry's world anyway and put it back in the individual stadiums, Arkansas and Texas A&M, because both of those fan groups are so good and loud. And in Jerry's world, it doesn't feel like a college atmosphere.
Right.
It's not what that is. So I would rather lose every bet the history of my life than lose that game. It's a tough one. And then we have Alabama next week. So, yeah, I was not good. I'm still not good. I woke up sad. I didn't have my lanyard on. My necklace didn't have it on. Forgot it. Can't find it, actually. We may never win another game the rest of...
This is not good.
Yeah. All right, next question.
All right, which NFL team had the biggest win over the weekend? The Packers, Dolphins, Jaguars, or the Colts?
Ooh.
Let me mention them individually. Good win, the first one, the Packers. Good win for the Packers because those are 2 teams that should be good, and the Packers have struggled a bit. They had I only watched part of it. Again, I was getting home and trying to stream on a Southwest flight, which that internet goes real good, 30 seconds, out for 45 minutes.
That was me too.
Yeah. So maybe Aaron Rodgers has a receiver now in the rookie that they have, the DOUBS. I was only watching it, and I've drafted him, but I don't want to say his name because I've never actually heard someone say it back. I just know who he is. We'll call him Daubs.
Yeah, I think they pronounce it Dobbs.
Yeah. Okay, close enough.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say it.
You didn't watch the game.
I've only
I get
read
it.
everything about him. Well, I drafted him in my fantasy league because I had read at how he was doing in camp. But if you don't hear someone say a word, you actually never know how to say it. So I like that win for them. It's a good win for the Pack, but it wasn't the biggest. They're supposed to win. The second one was
Dolphins.
Huge for the Dolphins.
Huge win.
Huge win for the Dolphins. We'll come back to that one. The third one,
Jaguars.
really good for the Jaguars. Listen, Herbert was hurt. He wanted to finish the game. He stayed in to finish the game. It's good. It's really good for the Jaguars because, like I've said, they're on a trajectory. They may not. They may win the division. I don't know. That's going to be it. But they're not in the basement anymore. Trevor Lawrence, solid. And so I like it for the Jaguars. Still not the best win, although it was a really good win for them. Next one?
Colts. Or the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's so okay. Here's the thing. Miami, great win over the Chiefs. Battle of the undefeateds, although no one really thought
over
that
the Bills.
Sorry, over the Bills. No one really thought that Miami was going to win that game. Although I did bet them plus 3 or 4. And they won, so they covered. It was easy. I bet every game I thought I shouldn't. I took Miami. I took the Colts. I took the Texans.
That's good. That's good strategy in the NFL.
Well, I just know I suck at betting NFL games.
The Texans keep covering, not to get off subject here, but
Yeah, they keep covering.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, it was the biggest game for the Colts.
Ooh, I'm blowing the whistle on that.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
they hadn't won a game, and they beat the number 1 team, one of the top 2 teams in the AFC. So I think it was a huge win for them. And I think it lets them actually think they can continue this season and actually have a shot at making the playoffs in a division where everybody's kind of struggling to win games. So huge game for Miami, of course, too. But Miami could have won and been fine. That had just been 2-1. That's a great place to be. 2-1 for anybody. There's only one 0-3 team, which is the Raiders, which is crazy. Yeah. Because they're supposed to be pretty good. I'm still rooting for them to be good. But I think the easy answer, and regardless of what Eddie says, it's the Colts. Because they were down and out. They lost this. It's bad. It's bad news all season. But they won against a really, really great team. Go ahead, Eddie.
I'm calling Miami on this one because, I mean, going in, the Colts, the Bills are so good on both sides of the field. Offense, Josh Allen's amazing. The Bills' defense is really good. And Tua, again, is like, they're just playing out of their mind. And the fact that they beat the Bills, which I crowned the Bills last week as like they're the best team in football. Now, I don't think you can say that about the Bills because Miami just beat them.
Sure you can.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think
there are two teams that are undefeated, the Eagles and the Dolphins. And I don't think the Dolphins are the best team in football.
No.
I'm not going to switch them and say the Dolphins are the best team, but now you saw that the Bills are human. They could be beat. And so I like that. I think that was huge for Miami. Dude, I didn't realize how much heat could affect a team from the North.
That's why I said it's a hard place to play.
Yeah.
For a team like Buffalo.
Like all those Bills players were just like, oh man, I'm dying of heat exhaustion.
Of anyone, really, that's
Patriots
not used to that.
Or every year they do the same thing.
Like a September game from a cold weather team is brutal on them like a winter game is for a warm weather team.
Even the Packers in Tampa were dying to
Florida just killed all the visiting teams.
I agree, it was a huge win for them, but I think the Colts it was the biggest win.
Yeah. They needed it for sure.
Not only did they need a win, but they also beat, again, arguably the top one or two teams in the NFL or the AFC. Mm-hmm. So what do you think, Kevin? Who do you think had the biggest win?
I was with Eddie on the Dolphins for a while there just because it's in Division 2 and I think it gives them the confidence that they need. But until they go up there and do that in Buffalo, it's kind of like, does it really matter? Does it really count?
Yeah, it does matters. But I just think Miami could have lost and been fine. The Colts, I don't know that they could have been.
Yeah, and I will say this about Miami, too. I mean, Tua didn't play that. He had, I think, 180 or 190 passing yards, which isn't great. Josh Allen had 400 yards, and they still managed to win the game. So I think that's huge for them. But going back to your point, Bobby, I think the Colts were so much more desperate for a win and needed a win, especially a game like that. So I'll go with the Colts as well.
And there's a football up that guy's rectum still from the punt. I mean, it's still jammed in there.
They're trying to get it out today.
That punt. What was crazy to me was the guy didn't back into the punter. He was there in that same spot.
Yeah.
The punter just punted it right in his butthole.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was a crazy, because I saw people tweeting about it, the butt punt. And then I thought probably the guy got blocked into it. They're in the end zone. So it's
shorter,
more difficult to punt because you don't have the space.
Right.
But it's like he caught it and just said, butthole.
Like he aimed for the butthole.
It was right in it. It was crazy. It was great games. All right, give me another one.
All right, sticking with the Dolphins game there, Tua got knocked around pretty good there and showed he was showing some concussion signs, but they brought him back in.
He was stumbling.
I mean, he couldn't walk. He couldn't do anything. Do you think he should have been pulled from the game?
I don't know what happened in concussion protocol. They're saying that it wasn't a head injury.
It was a back,
That
right?
it was a back, yeah. And listen, I guess if your back hurts, you're like, I don't know. It looked like he'd gone, boom, boom, like little Tweety bird circling around his head. And also dirty play. Like, I mean, they threw the flag on it.
Yeah.
The play was over, and then he just shoved Tua, and Tua falls back on his head.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they did the right thing because I don't think they want to further risk not only injury, but even the life of what they feel like could be their franchise quarterback. So I think probably because the NFLPA is investigating it, we don't know the ruling of the investigation. I'm going to just go they did the right thing. Also, if Tua's got a concussion, he's not going to play well at all.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want him in there?
So why would, especially as a quarterback?
And I wonder who's in charge of that. Are the Dolphins in charge of making that call, or is there a neutral NFL?
Independent.
Okay.
Yeah. Independent. So we'll see what happens in the investigation they're doing. The NFLPA announced it quickly. They're like, we're investigating. Yeah. And they may have announced it, though, as a reaction to people getting upset so they could even go, there's no concussion here.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of reasons they could have jumped
up.
up.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, and not cover up.
No, not cover up, but like
actually,
make sure that they like tell people, hey, we're on top of it, don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got to trust they put him in. and he was okay.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Yeah. After another big game and a 3-0 start, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, is he a early MVP candidate?
I think he is now. I think he already was after 2. He's been extremely dynamic. You need to be dynamic for 14 weeks probably to be an MVP and to win a bunch of games. And they're winning games, and he's 3 in. So, yes, you're going to have a lot of the same folks. Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's my pick from the beginning.
Dude, he looks good.
He looked good again. Yeah. Oh, he killed me yesterday.
He went off yesterday.
Yeah.
He's running them in. He's awesome. Lamar Jackson's awesome. Hurts is awesome. The cool thing about Hurts is they wanted to get him off the team. They were like, who's our quarterback? Who's our quarterback? Is it Jalen Hurts? Yeah, sure he is. I think it's too early, though, to go. I mean, the favorite's still probably Josh Allen because Buffalo's probably going to win more games than anybody else. And if he just plays on par with all the rest, but I'm a big fan of putting it out there, saying I'm going to do it and make your money. And that's why I picked Lamar Jackson at the beginning. So as long as he doesn't get hurt, I like Lamar Jackson, but I think Josh Allen or Mahomes probably wins it again, all things being equal. Anything else?
One more. Which upset was more surprising? Kansas State over Oklahoma, Texas Tech over Texas, or Middle Tennessee over Miami?
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, let me roll through them real quick. The first one, Kansas State and Oklahoma, that's surprising, but Kansas State has their number for some reason.
Yeah.
I think even last year we were watching the game. We were driving back in the first quarter, me and my wife's dad, and they were like, oh, and in shocking news, and he goes, oh, no, don't be Oklahoma. They're like, Oklahoma's losing to Kansas State. And he's like, dang. And so they ended up losing that game. I believe it was last year. And they never really were in it. They got within a touchdown, and I was like, come on, baby. And they did, and they cost me my 15 games.
Dang, dude.
I'm 15-1 now. I know. Terrible record.
Sooners.
The second one was
Texas Tech over Texas.
okay, surprising-ish, but what do you expect Texas to do?
Texas did what Texas does.
Texas, yes. And I just put out a clip going, Texas, it's you.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So surprising. And then finally, it has to be MTSU.
Amazing.
Because of all those schools mentioned, the one that doesn't belong of the 6 is Middle Tennessee State. That's it.
Middle.
Yeah.
So especially after Miami the week before was ranked 13, played Texas A&M, crazy. And I believe their quarterback, I don't have stats. I didn't even know you were going to talk about this. Their quarterback had like 7 completions for like 300 yards or something because he was throwing 90-yard bombs, like a couple big bomb plays that really made it up. So that was the surprising one. All right, that's the Tittle Tattle. Let's Tittle Tattle it up. Close it up.
The stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle.